Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. We have a new banner coming up this weekend, and this video is going to be all about whether or not you should summon. Whether you're early to late game, free to play, to Kraken. Without further ado, let's dig in. Alright, so let's take a look at the banners quick. We have the Crazy Invocation of Spirits, which is just a 2x. We have the Crazy Divine, which is also a 2x on the Divines. And then we have a Setram Serephina banner on the Invocation, and we have a Setram Serephina banner on the Divines. But on Saturday, we also have a surprise Invocation of Spirits, which also gives you it's like a 1+1 event, basically. You summon one legendary, you get another legendary. Now, should you summon? Well, first off, if you really need to get some extra points for Maw, and you really want to have Maw, go ahead and do whatever you need to get that done. It's kind of like a disclosure in this case. You might want to finish off your Maw, maybe you need those points, and in that case, go ahead and do it. Although you could argue that he's not really that great and not really worth the trouble. Now, the Crazy Invocation and Divine summonings, I would suggest staying away from those unless you're really early game. In that case, you might want to hit a few on there, hopefully you can get a legendary, or you can wait for the surprise Invocation of Spirits if you know that you're close to a pity. As for the Setram and Serephina banners, there's also, we have Baron, Lily, and Kalina on this banner as well for epics, so if you're early game and you really need those heroes, you might consider going ahead and getting them. But for Setram and Serephina, what I want to tell you is that they're average heroes, both of them. They're good heroes, but they're average heroes. So that means they're not in the worst pool of like Cratch and Azor, and they're not in the best with like Silas and Hex, or Lust and Arrogance or something like that. But for like the early mid game, they could be worth it to you. Really would suggest that you hold off of. And that unless you're a Whale or Kraken, in fact, I am suggesting that everybody hold. Now I know there's a lot of confusion going on with Moonton and Bytedance and TikTok and Apple and all these third-party purchases that they do in the apps, but I do want to say the only way for me to advise you is that with the assumption that they're going to figure this out, they're going to get these updates coming out, the patches coming out, and all these new heroes are going to eventually come to the game. And when they do, we're all going to be very happy. Stay optimistic. But we have a lot of new heroes rumored to be added to the game. We have Kagiri, we have the Sun Wukong, Monkey King, or whatever they're calling them. There's just all kinds of heroes coming up. Tallulah, Beelzebub, you name it. There's a whole bunch of really good heroes coming to the game really soon. For that reason, I'm suggesting that everybody hold, because you're probably going to want to get yourself a piece of those guys. Now, if you decide to go ahead and go through it, I wouldn't blame you. But I would say that your number one goal would probably be Setram. Setram is in the Infernal Blast team. He's a shield breaker. He's early to mid game, and he's awesome at what he does. He's not the end game solution. He won't be used all the way to the end game. You might use him in like some small niche areas, but in general, you're going to want to use him early to mid on your guild boss teams for the most part. And he just has the ability to break through those dragon shields and help you get a higher score on Nightmare 4 and really help you push your numbers. As for Serephina, first off, she's not wearing very much clothing, but besides that, she has a very simple kit. You can put out a decent amount of damage. It's not a ton. Maybe you could even put her right in the same kind of Setram lane as far as damage goes. Besides the fact that she's ESO and not Infernal Blast, which makes her a little less useful, especially if you're trying to run like a Pyros team. She's probably not going to help you much in Guild Boss or any of the certain areas like the early mid game you don't really want her. And when it comes to the end game, she's just not going to be a best in slot hero for doing the job that you need to get done. So I would not suggest that you really try to push for getting yourself a Serephina, although she's not awful. And I guess that's really all I have to really say about the banner, is that if you're early to mid game, like really early, you might want to pull on the 2x or the surprise. You may consider pulling on the Setram banner if you don't have him, and you're going to be doing the shard summoning for Maw anyways. You might want to try to pick yourself up one. As far as the end games goes, it's not really a banner worth pulling on. If you're a Kraken and you're just trying to complete out your account, everybody to awaken 5, then you're going to spend anyways, so. As for the surprise Invocation of Spirits, somewhere in the mid game that might be a little more of a good option, but I'm going to say still, I would hope that you would hold and pray that Bytedance, Moonton, and Apple. Figure out what's going on with the updates and then get them out. And hold on to your summoning crystals to help you out with those banners in the future. It's kind of a weird way to say it, but I'm just kind of encouraging the game to be a little stale for a while as far as summonings go. But I stand by it, and I'm going to be holding myself. I'm not going to try to summon on this banner. I do have a Setram Serephina, but even if I didn't, I wouldn't be trying, and I'm a late to end game player, so. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to do my best to keep you updated on everything that I can. Watch River of Realms. But thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep digging.